Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Sloth Doctors, not the Love Doctors.
Right? Get it right this time.
Yeah, right. I am Dr. Chip.
I'm Dr. Bob.
And we've got, I've got some interesting topics to talk about today, but I should start with yesterday when we filmed a couple episodes. Before we left to come up here, I started watching an old movie that is just like, what an underrated movie that nobody knows about. It was a version of The Bounty. With the one with, I think it must have been in the 80s, which you know is funny. We should get used to saying from last century. It's from last century in the 80s. But it was the one with Mel Gibson, Anthony
late 20th
Hopkins.
century?
Yeah. Anthony Hopkins, Liam Neeson was in it. Daniel Day-Lewis was in it. I mean, star-studded cast. You've seen it, right?
I don't think so.
Oh my God, you've got to watch it.
What'd you watch it on?
It popped up on YouTube, believe it or not. For some reason, movies are showing up on YouTube.
There's a lot of movies that free with ads on YouTube.
Yeah. But oh my God, what a great movie! Jesus Christ, it's the most. First of all, it's just a great movie, great cast, great acting, and the story, obviously real story, but just the level of realism that they go to in this movie is like you really like. Okay, I get it now. You know, because
you said it was The Bounty?
Yeah. You're familiar with the story, right?
Yeah. Isn't that the same story as also they redid it when they did Master and Commander?
No.
I thought that was the...
No, that's a different story.
No, okay.
But there's another version of The Bounty from back in the day that had... God, who was that big star? He played Captain Bligh. God damn it. I can kind of picture him. He was a big fat guy. Anyway, but this version was like obviously a remake of the original in the 80s. But the thing is, it's like, all right, so they start you off in England, and these guys are like, all right, we're going to go. You don't know the story then, right?
Not well enough. No.
All right, well, let me explain the story. All right, that'll kill.
I know there's a mutiny.
Yes, there's a mutiny. All right, so there's Captain Bligh and there's Christian Fletcher. Are the two main characters of the story, and they set out to go sail to. They got to go to Tahiti and pick up breadfruit and sail it to Jamaica so they can grow it there to feed the slaves. All right, so they set out from England, and I guess there's two ways you can go to Tahiti. You can go south down around Africa and past Australia, or you can try to go south and across and around the Cape Horn. And that would be a lot faster, but you got to go around the Cape, which is, I don't know if you know anything about going around Cape Horn.
No, it's super dangerous.
Yes.
As well as the Cape of Good Hope, which is...
And we're talking about 1780s technology. And which back then, they're not bad, but... So anyway, so they go down and they try to get around the Cape, and they're like literally after a month of sailing and they've gotten like 2 miles, they go, okay, that's enough of this, getting beat the shit out of. So they're like, all right, let's go the other way. So like, okay. So they start going the other way. Meanwhile, while they finally get to Tahiti, all right, now first of all, remember what life is like in 1780s England that they left. Right. And these guys are clearly not the upper the officers are, but the rest of the crew and stuff are not the upper echelon of society. They're living in the ghettos and the filth and crap of, they're living in the dregs of England.
And let me guess, and now you have to convince them to leave Tahiti.
Dude, forget leave. Wait till you see them just get there and just go, oh my God, and then, yes. And they spend a ton of time there. They spend enough time there that basically they've all been married.
Right.
They're married now with children on the way.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, we got to go.
No.
They went. They went.
I was saying, at that point, they're like, what do you mean we?
Well, this is where it starts, and they went. And, clearly not everybody was happy. And this is really where the rift between Christian Fletcher and Captain Bligh start, because Christian Fletcher's got he actually hooks up with the daughter of the chief, and she's pregnant, and they're like really in love, And so, but they leave, but then, Captain Bligh starts getting cruel and ruthless. And that's when they're like, nah, That's it. But the wildest part of it is, and this is the true story part that's just amazing. So they set Captain Bligh and some of the people that were, loyal to him, basically adrift in a frickin' lifeboat with like minimal supplies, no charts, just a compass. And dude, that Captain Bligh was somehow able to sail them. God, I wouldn't. I want to say how far because I'll fuck it up, but I'm going to say at least a couple thousand miles across open ocean and make it to some place in like fucking Australia. There's just like an amazing feat of sailors.
So cruelty aside, he had every right to be captain.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Well, but I mean, that's
he knew
the
what
thing.
he was doing.
Well, that's the thing. He wasn't that good of a captain. Why did they take your ship?
Right. Well, all right.
Which is
technical.
and
His
this whole movie starts with his what's it called? His trial. It's what's it called in the Navy?
Court martial.
His court martial. Right. That's how the movie starts, and then he tells the tale. But all right. So anyway, so they throw him off the ship. Then they go back to Tahiti. They get all their wives and a couple of Tahitians. They have to tell the king, sorry, taking your daughter. And the king's like, and the funny thing is the king's like, yeah, take her and get the flunk out of here because the English are now going to come up with a bunch of fucking soldiers and kick our ass because of what you guys did, All right, so they take the daughter and the other people and they haul ass and they go to this place called Pitcairn Island, which is basically out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. And they go there and they burn their boat. And to this day, there's a little settlement of people on Pitcairn Island that are descendants of these Tahitian and European English mixed people.
I've heard the name Pitcairn Island, but for some reason I had it linked in my mind with like one of those guano islands. You know what I mean? The islands that are basically just taken to. So I can't remember. I want to say might have been in the early 1800s, but I could be way off on the time scale here. But basically, everybody in the world was looking for bird shit anywhere you could find it. It's highly valuable in the use of
bat shit. Actually,
and bat shit. Yeah, but guano it refers to both. I always thought it was. Just
is that where the
shit.
term bat shit crazy comes from?
It might be.
What? Actually, I bet you that comes from the fact that if you ever go in one of those caves with all the guano, you got to wear a gas mask. Or else that might be what makes you batshit crazy.
But yeah, so it's a very valuable resource for nations, and everybody was scrambling to try to claim any uninhabited island. If you found an island that was covered, places that birds had been migrating to for hundreds and hundreds of years that never saw humans, had feet thick. You could mine it.
But I got to say, man, first of all, the performance by Mel Gibson, I got to say, in this movie is probably his best acting performance I've ever seen him. And I mean, I'm talking better than Braveheart, better than what's the other one, good one that he was in?
Patriot.
Yes, Patriot. Any of his good serious roles, this is probably his best. It was amazing. And Anthony Hopkins, I mean, he always delivers.
Hell of a cast. Yeah.
And well, I tell you the truth, Daniel Day-Lewis had kind of a remote role that, whatever. Liam Neeson he got flogged. I'm
surprised that Daniel Day-Lewis didn't shine. I mean
he doesn't have very much of. He plays Friar, just like basically when they leave. Bligh is the captain, and Friar is actually the second in command that actually sails the ship, and then Christian Fletcher, whatever the fuck his name is, and then during the course of actually before they even I think get to Tahiti, Friar does something to piss Bligh off and he gets demoted, and so that's another. But yet Friar is one of the guys that gets set off in the adrift in the boat with him, right? So, but yeah, it's just that whole movie from the 80s. It's like it tells the story amazingly and amazingly authentically and accurate, and it's like great performances by everybody involved. Amazing.
When it's great when they can nail the historical accuracy and still actually provide a great story. And it's because
truthfully, most all true stories are better than fiction. I mean, when you dig into a lot of them,
yeah.
And the fact that so many people embellish the shit out of them to make them interesting is really, to me, almost an injustice. Sometimes there's plenty of just bit my tongue. There's plenty of stories that. Plenty interesting without embellishment. Just tell the story. You don't have to, make it that too crazy. And, just like, isn't Fargo a true story?
I don't think so. I think it does say based on a true story. But
Well, there you go. There you go.
I think they actually just made that up. I don't think it's actually even based on a true story.
Yeah, you could be right. But I mean, everything is based on some kind of vision of reality or something.
It was like AI is based on everything, parts and bits and pieces of everything that everybody else has already said and done.
True. But and the other thing that people talk about AI being so great and like, look, AI can only work with what it can access, which is the internet, which everybody knows half the shit on the internet is bullshit anyway. So it's like, you can't rely on AI for accuracy. It's getting all kinds of information from people that are just
the LLM AIs, based large language models that are just amassing all of the things that anybody has ever said or uttered in any language since it's ever been put up on the internet. But I guess the AI they're talking about, or AGI, which is the big problem, is an AI that would, instead of learning that way, would basically just start performing, like just give it the laws of physics, and then it starts figuring stuff out on its own. Like it gives itself its own definition of matter, and it just does the experiments on its own. It would be its own
purveyor of truth.
Yes.
Well,
in a sense.
But the thing is, how would it? I don't know. How would it actually?
Instead of relying on what everybody else says, it would just
bullshit.
It would just rely solely on the laws of physics. It would just perform experiments using models.
But how would that tell it? I mean, I could. Ow! God damn it! I'm biting my tongue. I can understand where that would solve questions of science and stuff like that. But that's not going to say, all right, the stuff that's on the internet, this is true, this is not true, this is kind of true, this is kind of
Well, I guess it wouldn't even care about that. It wouldn't even matter to it. It would be not part of its.
Well, then it's not really AI in the sense that it's going to do everything. It's only dealing with scientific stuff.
Yeah, I don't really know. I'm just paraphrasing shit that I've heard other people say.
Well, yeah,
like
but I mean,
stupid AI.
These people are afraid that AI is going to take over like freaking like the Terminator, like starting be self-aware and self-replicating and this, that, and the other thing.
Super. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that's first of all, how is it going to? If it's stupid enough to, I think we can trick it. I'm pretty sure we can.
Well, the argument is, can we trick it or will it trick us? But I think that the more immediate concern is either humans using AI maliciously to help them do other evil things like creating viruses and shit like that, being easier to do for cheaper, so it doesn't take nation states to pull it off. And also the way it's going to affect the economy. By replacing jobs.
Why does every conversation devolve into AI?
Because it's everything everybody talks about nowadays. Yeah, we did slip into it. We go back to talking about movies, though. Talking about movies, for like 70s and 80s, that you find on YouTube for free. Have you ever seen The Duelists?
Oh, yeah. Well, John Wayne, right?
No. This is Harvey Keitel. It's I think it might be Ridley Scott's first movie. It's about dueling in the 1600s or 17th century.
I have not seen that. No,
it's really, really good. It's based on a true story. The Harvey Keitel's character is this real son of a bitch who goes around picking duels and winning them. But what's really good about
dual sword or pistol?
Sword.
Okay.
Rapiers. And what's really interesting about it is how cold, efficient, and brutal the choreography of the fights is. It's not
really.
It's not the Princess Bride. I'm also left.
Not
right.
Errol Flynn.
Yeah, no. This is fast and nasty, and usually over within 10 to 12 seconds, and just one thrust. And I believe in one of the duels too, Keitel impales this, runs him through, and can't even dislodge his sword. And he seems almost offended or disgusted by it. He lets go of it and just turns around. The guy just drops to his knees with a sword through him, because that's pretty much all it takes.
Yeah, that'd do it. I mean, even if it don't kill you,
not
that's flashy,
in the fight. Just ruthless.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I think I even saw Liam, talking about Liam Neeson, Rob Roy. Have you ever seen that? That's a great Liam Neeson movie. I like that movie.
He has a sword fight in that movie, right?
He does, with Tim Roth. What a great movie. Tim Roth's lines in that too. Evil, such an evil bastard he is.
Yeah, Tim Roth has he ever played a good guy?
I don't think he has. He does such a good job as a villain.
I can't think of one time he wasn't a villain.
In that, he plays this English bastard who's sent to live in Scotland to, I guess, improve his manners or something. I don't know how that's going to work. But some of the line, he gets a serving girl pregnant, and she comes crying to him about that she's pregnant or something. And she says, "But his name's Archibald something. I can't remember his last name." She's like, "But Archie, I love you." And his line to her is so vicious. Love is but a dunghill, and I'm the cock that climbs atop to crow.
I remember that.
Good God, man. That is
They were
hellacious.
quite eloquent with their
Yeah, it was nasty. Yeah.
Oh God.
That's a good and then the snide comments between the two, I guess the arch villains in it are these two rich guys, the Marquess and I can't remember the other guy's title, but they're very left-handed insults, with each other. And I think one of them says something, "Honestly, I forget how much I dislike you until I'm in your presence."
Yeah. Dude, I now that I think about it, I can only think of one role for what's his name?
Tim Roth.
Tim Roth. And this is in a movie I don't think anybody even knows about. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Mr. something. God, we might have to IBM, whatever.
Wait a minute. Wasn't he in Reservoir Dogs? Wasn't he the cop?
Yeah, but I wouldn't say he was
the
good guy.
Well, he was the best guy there. I mean,
it's kind of subjectional. I don't know, man. Yeah,
he was the only one in the group that was not a criminal.
The movie I'm thinking of, God, I wish I could remember the name of it. All right, it's set in about, I want to say like the 20s or 30s, and it's narrated by this. Oh God, this fat actor dude that he's kind of like a B actor. I wouldn't know his name, but anyway, he's kind of like this guy, and he's working on this crew because they're about to blow up this ship. There's a ship in the harbor of New York, and they've got to destroy it. They've got to like blow it apart or something, and he's working on it to set charges and get ready to destroy it. And he strikes, and apparently there's one guy that still lives on the ship. And the reason he lives on the ship is he's never been off the ship. He was born on the ship. He's lived every day of his life on this boat. He's never gotten off. And what he did on the boat was he was a piano player. And he is the best piano player on the planet. It's insane. It's like
he's never stepped foot on land.
Correct. And it's just a wild movie. And Tim Roth is this guy, and he actually has a battle with this other guy that's supposedly the other best piano, comes on the ship to battle him so they can do like this piano battle. And that's the most insane. That's a great scene in the movie when they do that. But
I am the greatest pianist of the land. I am the greatest pianist of the sea.
The guy that comes on and challenges him too is the guy from, a black guy from Mod Squad. I can't remember the guy's name. You know who I'm talking about, right? The black guy from Mod Squad. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
Link. Anyway, it's that actor, and he does a really good job at his character. But there's one other scene where it's like all right before, like towards the end, where he's about to blow up the ship. And I don't want to ruin the ending, but there's this one scene where they're on this boat. They're on the boat, and it's really stormy out, and the boat's just kind of rocking and swaying and rocking, and this guy's having a hard time, like getting sick or something. And the piano guy says, "Oh, come here, I'll show you how to get over that." And they literally sit down at this piano that's on wheels. And I mean, I'm sure it's all choreographed and not real, and as they're sitting on the bench of the piano, he's playing the piano, and as it's just rolling around the deck of this dance floor as he's playing, as the ship's rocking. It's an insane movie. It's Mr. Something.
I've definitely never seen it because I would remember. Yeah,
that's a great movie.
Pretty unique.
That's another
plot.
one you should. That's another one I'm going to put on your homework lesson. I wish I could. If you'd have to IBDM you'll find it. It's Mr. Something, like Mr. Fantastic or something like that.
If only we had a young Ethan to tell us the name of this movie. We had a magical somebody behind the curtain that could.
Yeah, right. Anyway, yeah. So I don't know. How did we get off on it? I guess I started into the movie thing. We should really do a. As a matter of fact, I saw a movie. We should do a version of Mystery Science Theater on. And it was this weird movie from like the 70s, and it was so bizarre. I'm trying to think of, there was one guy in it that looked like
it's not On the Beach, right? Oh, that was bad. It was the 50s.
Yeah, no, we talked about that one already. No, this is a different movie. This movie is like, and it has to be, I'm sure it was after Rocky Horror because it's clearly a ripoff of like Rocky Horror meets like an Alice Cooper type rock band kind of thing. Oh, it's so weird. It's so weird. And I've only just saw like a little clip of the preview. We should definitely do a mystery. If I can't remember the name of the movie, but it was
Legend of 1900.
That's it. The Legend of 1900.
Yes, thank you, sir. Yes, outstanding,
Thank you, sir. Yeah, that's a great movie. Legend of 1900. That's definitely on your homework.
That's the Tim Roth.
Yes.
Crazy
Yes.
pianist. Okay.
Yes, The Legend of 1900. That's it. And as a matter of fact, I think 1900 is the guy's name. Like he doesn't have a name because he wasn't really ever born anywhere. And that's like, well, what's your, I think they call him Mr. Something,
Right.
but they're like, well, what's your real name? 1900. Like that's what room he was born in or something.
It's a small club, but there are, obviously humans that were born at sea.
Yeah.
En route from one place to another.
Well, the funny thing about
And
this
then
character
I guess I think your citizenship is based on the port of departure. Is technically
okay.
where it's considered you were born.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, if you were to actually live the life like this guy did, you wouldn't need a port of you wouldn't need it.
Well, no.
He never got off the boat.
Fair enough. But
Ever.
most people that are born at sea do get off the boat.
Exactly.
Or
This guy
more
never
likely
set foot
taken
off the boat.
as a baby. But yeah.
This guy never got off the boat. He didn't know anything about anything other than what was on that boat. Otherwise, I don't know. I've never been there. Never got in. Yeah, it's a great movie. Great movie. All right, we off movies?
Yeah, well, I mean, we might go back to it, but sure, we can get off of that for a minute.
Well,
What else you want to talk about?
I saw a thing, and I guess, they just passed a bunch of laws trying to ease the effect of the laws they just passed about condos. I guess they're basically just kind of transferring the responsibility from the actual condo kind of onto the people that are, that live there or something. It just, the whole thing, why would you ever buy a condo? It just doesn't make any sense. It's not quite renting. It's not quite owning.
Your future bills are so tied to everybody else's financial situation. And
I mean, I kind of get it. If you could get the HOA low enough and you don't have to do anything, you don't have to mess with the lawn or the roof or cable or, a lot of that stuff, I kind of get it. But, I mean, sooner or later, you're going to want to have control over that stuff. It's not, I don't know. It's just a matter of, I guess, ease over control of.
Well, HOA is in a sense where it's a bunch of buildings is a lot different from an HOA when it's a 20-story.
Well, not only that,
you're talking about a condo like that.
And that's the real problem because there seem to be two different kind of HOAs. First of all, there's an HOA that is run by the people that actually live there. And then apparently there are corporations that come in and have a company, and this is the HOA corporation, and they run it for profit.
Right.
So that's got to be a great business, dude. Imagine that. Well, I mean, I guess there is some work involved with having to line up all the contracts for the lawn maintenance, but man, those guys have got to be raking it in lately. I mean,
I know the HOA fees down here are just getting out of control. I know that. They seem to be rising every year.
I wonder how many HOA corporations are operating just in the state of Florida. I can guarantee it's probably at least a couple of thousand. Gotta be. And I mean, what a great business model, though. I mean, especially if you're already doing it. If you've got one set up, after that, how to jump through all the hoops and bang. Then it's just like, all right, new condo coming up over there. Let's.
Yeah, you've already got your contacts and your people.
Oh, somebody else just showed a picture of you're old enough to remember the Sportatorium, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They showed a picture of the Sportatorium from like an aerial view, which is funny. My grandfather probably might have taken that picture. But anyway, they showed an aerial picture of the Sportatorium, and then they showed it like today. And like back then, there was nothing out there, remember? Mm-hmm. Today, it's like it's like houses all over the place out there. Crazy. And of course, I guarantee they're all in HOAs. They're all those cookie cutter, kind of things where you're not really allowed to do your own lawn. They have to.
Yeah, I was going to say those are the HOAs that are more irritating than anything else. But the downside is it might not involve your roof collapsing on you and bringing the whole building down. if things didn't get paid.
Well,
But
yeah.
yes, they're
Yeah,
the
yeah.
ones that tell you can't fly this kind of flag, or you can't let, your fence can only be this high.
Yeah, they're just annoying as hell and just probably ripping you off, whereas the others can be absolutely dangerous. And yeah. Well, that's true. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, I'm surprised. Did the HOA of that building that collapsed face any kind of fines or
any kind of-
replications?
I don't remember.
They probably just went out of business.
Well, yeah. I don't remember, but I do remember reading at the time that it was, because they'd put off certain repairs for so long.
Yeah. Who do you sue?
Yeah, and then I guess at a certain point it gets to where the amount of money it would cost to repair everything, even split amongst every occupant, is so high that no one has the money to do it. And then what do you do? Just wait for it to fall down, or everybody moves?
No, they borrow it. You have to borrow the money, and then basically what they've been doing, apparently, especially, is the HOA goes and borrows the money, and then basically gives everybody little chunks of the loan. Go, here's your part of the loan. Here's what you owe. Here's what you owe. Here's what you owe. And it's like, oh shit, I owe $200,000 now, but I thought I had the place paid off.
Yeah,
it's crazy. And that's why some of them, I've heard of people just basically giving away condos, going like, that's it. You want it? You can have it. It's your problem now, but I haven't seen one of those per se, but.
yeah, and that's another thing. Like if you own, is what you could argue about how wise or unwise it would be, but if you outright own property here in Florida, it's up to you whether or not you want to have insurance on it. But if you own, air quotes, if you own a unit in a building like that, it's really not up to you because it's a shared debt, and shared responsibility, and shared risk. So,
absolutely not. And you're probably paying all kinds of insurance that you don't normally pay with a regular, regular, single family. Yeah, it's all coming to a head, though. I mean, it's all got to come down eventually. There's no way this can keep going. I mean, how's poor Ethan never going to buy a house? There's no way it's going to be, I don't know. Unless, I don't know. There's got to be some kind of correction. It's just there's so many, they're saying they're building these AI. I just saw a thing saying that Zuckerberg is building some freaking AI thing somewhere that's like billions and billions and billions of dollars. To what end? What the hell is it for? To be in charge of the AI race or whatever? It's like, I don't know. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, I don't know how much truth there is to it as far as what their goal is, but apparently everybody's convinced that whoever gets there first is going to reap all of whatever these mystical rewards are going to be.
I guess apparently if you're in the area and making some of the billions of this money, I guess they're spending to build all this stuff, but how many people can that be? They're basically building really high-tech stuff. Well, I guess the buildings themselves can't be that high-tech. As a matter of fact, the article said they're actually starting to do the work of whatever the hell they're building in tents, not even waiting to build buildings, just starting in the tents, just like, all right, start it up, start it going.
Well, it's good for construction guys. It's probably good for HVAC guys too, because don't you have to keep all that shit pretty cold?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you would in a tent, but
I'm sure they're not running the servers in the tent, but
who knows? I don't know. I mean, then this is of course all stuff I read on the internet, so we know it has to be true. So.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, they were saying that Zuckerberg's trying to build some complex that's basically almost as big as Manhattan.
Is this out in near Reno in Nevada?
I don't know.
Because I think there's one out there, but I thought that one was being built by Musk.
I think it said it was somewhere in Ohio.
Okay, I think there's one going up in Nevada near Reno. Well,
that makes sense. There's plenty of room in Nevada. Yeah, Arizona and Nevada. That makes sense. Ohio. Well, I don't know. Is there a lot of room in Ohio?
Maybe parts of it. I don't know. People live there a long time. I find it hard to believe, but
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, something's got to happen because it's just crazy. I mean, it does seem to be coming down a little bit, but I mean, like I said, there's going to be a correction, but sure enough, sooner or later, once it stops correcting and hits bottom, it'll start going again.
Up again.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, it's funny because it's like, back when I bought a house for what did I pay for that place?
The Saranac?
No.
That was horrible timing on that one.
Yeah, and I overpaid like crazy for that too, but it all worked out. I mean, because whatever. But yeah, I paid 400 grand for that piece of property back in 06, 05, 06, something like that.
Yeah, right before that crash.
Yeah, which is funny too, because then it was getting valued at like literally 2 or 3 years later, property appraised for like 120 grand in value, and I'm like, you got to be shitting me. Which
The
is
property itself,
great for
was,
great
the
for
property
taxes.
itself was great, but the neighborhood was
The
horrific.
neighborhood was a problem. Location of the property, yeah, it was great. But the funny thing was after I bought it and then the crash, it was like, I remember seeing a thing. I just paid 400 grand for that property, and then seeing a thing about how the Detroit Metrodome had been sold for $485,000.
You're like, if another 80, I could have had a
damn it.
Metrodome.
Yeah, I could have waited 2 years. I bought the Metrodome. Then again, what the hell are you going to do with a Metrodome?
You could buy half of Detroit for 400 grand, I think.
Right now, yeah, you probably. Well, I don't know. I think Detroit.
Actually, I've heard. I'm joking. I've heard it's kind of trying to make a comeback.
The place
actually.
now is Cleveland, or any place up there that isn't actually anywhere near like a big city. Right. You can get a pretty good deal.
I think Pod Populi has a studio in Cleveland, so maybe they're onto something there.
But you say that's on the lake or something. It's just insanely cold. Right?
Yeah, you get the lake effect in the winter. It's horrific.
It'd have to be a summer house.
Yeah, that'd be the only way. You wouldn't want to. Yeah, even 50 miles south of there in the winter is pretty bad.
Yeah, yeah. I think. I mean, eventually I'm going to have a summer house in Boston, but that's a ways off. Although, happy birthday to Dad. He just had 85th birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday to Bill.
Dr. Bill. And it's funny. He used to. I believe his last DJ name was Dr. Parker. I'm pretty sure that was his last on-air DJ.
Right, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he is also in no way a doctor, right?
No.
He doesn't have an MD or doctor of education.
No. I don't know if he even graduated with his journalism degree. I don't think he or my mom graduated from college. He definitely went for a while, but I think he dropped out. I don't know. I don't think he I don't think he has a diploma.
So that was an insane story you told me the other day about the childhood baby car ejection.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe as long as I've known you that I never, Now, obviously, like you said, for the listeners, you were 8 months old?
Yeah, 8 months old.
8 months old,
yeah.
and your mom was driving back from Gainesville and managed to accidentally flip and roll a Volkswagen Bug convertible, and the top was up, but still soft top, and you were hurled from the vehicle, and aside from a scratch, everything worked out.
I don't know if I was really hurled from it, or probably maybe from what I hear or what she says, it flipped over a bunch of times and then slid on its top, or not the top, but slid on what was left of the top. But I think at some point while it was sliding, I probably slid out of the car. I don't think I got thrown from the car, but she said she did have to look for me afterwards.
Now, not in a car seat, in a car seat? Do car seats existed?
No such thing as a car seat
No such
back
thing
then.
as a car seat back then? So, what did they just wrap babies up and put them in the back seat? And
I was probably...
how did you safely transport a child in a car if you're alone?
Geez,
back
I don't
then?
know. I have no idea. I don't know what I was in. But, I remember, when you're, 4 or 5 or whatever, you pretty much didn't even wear a seatbelt. You had this.
Yeah.
Wait.
I can remember, the things, I'm going somewhere with all these points.
By this, for the radio listeners, I'm putting my hand out to the
right. Yeah, your seatbelt was essentially your mom's
parent,
arm, and the force of her arm being able to stop you. I remember riding with my grandfather in his pickup truck and standing up in the front seat.
Oh, yeah.
And, obviously, I would have been hurled completely through the windshield if the truck had come to a stop. We used to frequently ride in the back of the pickup truck. Mm-hmm. I don't remember ever doing it on the highway, on the interstate. But, I would say at least up to like 50 miles an hour in the back of the truck, and have dogs back there, too.
That was the only victim of my one DUI accident. Well, I didn't get charged. I didn't get convicted with DUI, but I had an accident, and basically I rear-ended this truck, and there was a guy in the back of the truck. Yeah, I got it. Now, this other truck had already hit 2 cars in front of him. So I guess the guy was already slammed to the front of the truck. So I'm not, but I think when I hit him, he got tossed out of the truck.
Right.
But he's the only person that actually really got hurt in that whole Schkabeel, but
none of that was, well, I mean, maybe at certain points when we were kids, some of it would be considered child neglect or endangerment or whatever, but everybody pretty much did
dude,
that.
back those days, you could toast a beer at a cop as you were driving by, like, hey, cheers. You know?
So I'll tell this story now because my mother is no longer with us, and the story involves my cousin, and her mother is no longer with us either, so no one's going to come down on them, but I'm going to say this had to have been, it would have been considered child endangerment or anything. I don't know why they did it, but one summer, my cousin, Nicole, and I were probably 12 years old, living in West Palm Beach, Florida, and our moms decided they wanted to have a fun summer, you know, and get rid of the kids, put us on a Greyhound bus by ourselves and sent us to Tennessee.
Jeez. Now, who's in Tennessee?
Grandparents.
Okay.
To our grandparents.
So there was somebody on the other end.
There was family on the other end, but this is not like putting a child on a plane where you hand them off to the attendant who then you watch them walk up the ramp, and when the plane lands, if it's nonstop, they walk off the ramp to the loving arms of your grandparents. This is not even a train.
Right. I did the train a bunch of times.
May have to stop, but you don't have to get it. No, this is a bus. A bus that not only has to stop so people can use the bathroom and get food and snacks.
Did you have to switch to another bus at any point?
No, but we had to switch drivers at a certain point. So, by the time we're at the end of our trip, the driver doesn't know who we are, has never seen us before. Some of the passengers don't know who we are, never seen us before. I mean, obviously nothing happened, but it's amazing to me that no one tried to snatch either one of us.
Yeah, there's no way you could do that.
No cell phones, all right? Not only did all of this occur and we lived through it, but so we were going to this really small little town in Tennessee called Spring City. And at the time, there was no, the bus stop was basically a gas station. You could get out at this gas station. We were supposed to go to this one gas station that was the bus stop. Now, my cousin, even though she was only 12, very precocious and really knew the area well, had spent more time up there. There was another gas station that was technically closer to our grandparents' house. Somehow, she actually convinced the driver to let us off at this gas station. Stop the bus. We were the only ones. They let us out.
Was it less out of the way or anything? Or?
I mean, no, this is a tiny place in Tennessee. Everything was in the middle of nowhere. Okay. So it leaves us at the gas station because she thought our grandparents were going to be there. They weren't there.
Well, they were at the other gas station.
They were at the other gas station. But we had no way. So we were literally just sitting there. When the bus finally went to its actual destination, our grandparents are there and they freak out. They're like, where are the kids? Oh, I left them at, the Piggly Wiggly down the road or whatever. And so then they came and got us and everything worked out fine. But so many opportunities for us to have been snatched and taken. Yeah. Obviously, so we must have been so irritating that even nobody wanted us, I guess. But I still argued, and I've told her, I think our parents were trying to get rid of us. It's like throwing your kid in the pool if they can't swim and trying to teach them, No, I think they were sending us to be kidnapped. And my sister, I believe, was sent... I can't remember who she was sent off to for that summer, but obviously she was sent, not with us, not on the bus.
I remember I had to live with my grandparents
She was only 8 or 9, so I guess they didn't think she could make it.
I want to say at least 3 months, maybe longer. I had to live with my grandparents while my mom went to Europe to go to Le Mans.
Nice.
It was like, that was when they had that house with the pool in Belvedere Homes. Yeah, it was like 2 or 3 months at least. Maybe longer than that. I'm trying to think if I was going to school then still. Or it had to be. No, Le Mans is in the summer, right? It's got to be in the summer.
I think so. Where did your grandparents live? Where were you?
Belvedere Homes.
Oh, okay.
Belvedere Homes, right by there.
I didn't know if it was out of state or
Matter of fact, that place was just literally a couple of blocks east from SAS's house.
Okay.
From the place we were talking about with the car a few episodes ago.
Skip's house?
No, SAS, Scott.
Okay.
Scott Sheridan. I wonder what happened to him. That's a blast from the past. But anyway,
working on that Fiat.
Yeah, right. But anyway, dude, I also was watching a clip of, do you know what the Isle of Man TT is?
Yes.
Oh, good Lord.
That is, nothing has been improved more by the invention of the GoPro than that.
That's true.
Because that footage, the footage now that you can watch of the actual bike from their perspective is horrifying and terrifying.
I reposted a clip of them racing, and I put the comment was, "These guys hang monster trucks from their balls."
Yeah, yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't somebody die at, like every time they race?
Not every time, but they've died.
Pretty fucking frequent though.
Yeah. Well, it's if you go down, you're getting hurt. I mean, one way. I mean, it's just so. I mean, I'm a guy that'll go out on like a track and go at least that faster if I can. But man, they're going right by brick walls, trees, and the other thing is, what's to stop a rabbit?
Yeah.
Or a deer.
A bird.
Or a bird at that speed. You're absolutely right. If you got hit in the helmet with a bird, it would probably knock you off.
I live in Gainesville. There's bugs big enough that would fuck you up if you were going that fast. I mean, I don't think they have those bugs there. But
those guys
and the spectators get pretty damn close to the action.
Yeah.
I'm surprised nobody's been
that's one of
horribly killed by a bike hit running into people.
Right. I don't have many things left on my bucket list, but that's one thing I wouldn't mind going to see that in person one time.
I would love to see that in person too. That would be amazing.
Opie, when we used to, God bless Opie for knocking one of the things off my bucket list, which was going down to Homestead when we did with our motorcycles and getting to go out there and flog my motorcycles for as fast as I can get it to go.
So remember Mr. Mouser, the cat that fucked up the baseboards in there? He was a Manx. That's where they come from the Isle of Man. That's where that breed of cat comes from, the Manx cat.
Huh. So the ones with no tails.
Yep.
How do they? What happened to their tails?
I don't know. The same way that you breed any kind of animal, they just kept breeding the ones with the smallest tails, and eventually, you know what I mean?
See, now you're scaring me because if you go there and everybody's as mean as that cat, we're in big trouble.
No, I think he was touched in the head, perhaps.
Well, he kind of. That's the problem with him is he loved you until he didn't.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. You'd be like all up into it, like loving on you, and then next thing you know, it's like, hey, whoa. That cat was insane. I love that cat. Even though I would leave there bleeding profusely many times, I still love him.
Well, you fucked with him and you played with him like he was a dog, and he liked it, and then you got him overexcited, and then you got hurt for it.
I did. Yes, I did.
I never did that with him, and he never savaged me.
And he would play catch with you like a dog.
Yeah,
for sure,
endlessly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I did.
He had a lot of personality. He was a strange cat.
And the problem was, I mean, and this is how it starts: is you play catch with him enough, and then if you stop, he ain't having it.
Yeah, but then you would like do that, butt paddling on him and get him, and then play with his belly and get him all jacked up, and
that's
like putting your hand inside a furry bear trap. What'd you think was going to happen?
That's true. He was a wild cat. He was a little freaking cannonball too.
But he was really sweet at night. He always slept in the bed with me and would spoon,
Oh, well, that was
turn
always
around and then flop and put his chest.
I don't know if you remember, but that was always the cure to when we get too out of control. You just pick him up, and give him like a big bear hug, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I love you again."
Yeah, and he also liked to. He would put his front paws up like a toddler wanting to get picked up. You scoop him up by the armpits. Yeah, it was a pretty cool cat.
Yeah, Miss Old Mouser. What was the other cat's name? The female.
Oh, Mau Mau's very original name. Right. Yeah,
she was sweet too.
She had her 20 years, 21 years, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, my cat's getting old, man. I think she's like 11 or 12 now. And that cat's never literally, other than the first time I took her to a vet and got her all her shots, and she's actually got a microchip. Other than that, she's never been back to the vet. Of course, she's been fine. I've never seen her. I mean, other than coughing up a fur ball every once in a while. Oh, to go back to the whole thing about, I wanted to talk about a thing, tribalism is definitely a problem. But you know who doesn't seem to have a problem with tribalism? Us. And you know why? I don't think we belong to any tribes.
Or too many.
Name one. Well, pot smokers tribe, maybe.
Pot smokers.
we're not in any tribes to be that tribal. It's kind of like you can look at all the different tribes and be able to distinguish them quite easily because you're not part of any of them,
Right. I was trying to think back to when I was, like I guess like in high school, there were a lot of different little cliques and everything.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
I was accepted in almost all of them. But
I was just going to say, I was a clique surfer as well.
To any of them.
Yeah, I was down with the homeboys and down with the Palm Beach kids and down with the rednecks and down with the middle class kids. Yeah, I was the same thing. I was a clique surfer for sure. With the surfers, I would hang out with the surfer dudes. Speaking of surfing. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's just like so people are so invested in their tribal, and that's what I was thinking about. Actually, about that guy that was pissed. Was pissed at me about making those comments about the flood. It's like just why does this life mean so much and that means absolutely nothing, and it's all just tribalism. It's just like they're all the same people. They're not all people we don't know.
You know what else I think might have helped too is service industry. Working in the service industry exposes you to quite a lot of different types of people.
True,
and it really does shatter some of your
tribalism, though.
Well, no, but to help you avoid tribalism, really does show you a better insight into a lot of different people. That's what I always thought anyway.
Well, that's just working with the public per se. I don't know if it's necessarily. Although the restaurant industry, you do get a lot of.
Like I don't think I would have, if had I not worked in the restaurant business, I don't think I would have met as many Puerto Ricans, Cubans, and Haitians working in the back of the house.
Well,
I probably wouldn't have met as many gay guys, and I mean, just I don't know, people that I wouldn't have normally run into in my normal circle. Certainly, a lot of degenerates, and because for years, people in the restaurant industry was one of the few jobs you could get where you didn't have to pass a drug test. So you get a lot of stoners and.
That's true. That's
people that do other things as well.
But I mean, if you got into like the blue collar trades, you're going to meet a lot of those same people.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know, but I mean, the restaurant industry is just. I think the most unique thing about the restaurant and like a lot of the entertainment industry is the fact that most of it goes on later. I've never had. I mean, every once in a while, I worked at a place where you had to do a lunch shift, but even then. You show up at what, like 9:30, 10? It's not like you have to get up in the morning. And even then, I barely ever did that. I mean, I've literally, other than when I had the crane, which then I had to get up early, but I was always done by like noon. But other than that, I've never worked during the day. Do you ever work during the day?
I worked pretty much exclusively nights from like 15 years old to probably 30.
Yeah, you never work out a day job, right?
Well, no, I did later in life. I had a couple of them, and then
the cutting the locks is kind of a day job. I guess.
That was definitely a day job. I had a day job when I worked at Peter Allen, the glass and acrylic place. I worked there with Kerouac
that's right.
for a little while.
Right.
I had a day job eventually Howley's turned into a day job because I became pretty much the daytime manager. So, and those shifts would start at 6 o'clock in the morning.
That's true.
Yeah, and actually even a little earlier because
we had business though.
And we had a couple of guys that were like on the work release program that I would sometimes have to, when they were there, I had to go pick them up from the jail on Southern.
What did they do? Like wash dishes or something?
No, one was a cook and one was a dishwasher and a prep guy. Yeah.
Oh. I didn't know you guys did that.
I just accidentally called it Southern Boulevard. My apologies. It's no longer Southern Boulevard. It is now President Donald J. Trump Boulevard. I just found that out yesterday. My GPS told me to make a left on what I thought it was Southern, has been my entire life, and it was like, make a left on President Donald J. Trump Boulevard. They haven't changed the signage yet.
Speaking of yesterday, or he might even made this comment this morning, but did you see the comment he made about how stupid Republicans are believing in Epstein?
No, I haven't seen that one yet. A new comment?
Yeah, I think it was either yesterday or this morning. He's like,
because I know the other day he claimed that the files were all created by Obama and the Clintons.
And now his latest statement was, and this is what I find so hilarious. He goes, the only people that believe this Epstein stuff are stupid Republicans. And then that have ever believed any of this stuff. They're just stupid Republicans. And I'm like, well, okay, the first stupid Republicans that come to my mind are Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, Cash Patel,
yourself,
Cockeye Cash,
himself.
Yeah, and it's just like, how can you just? There's tapes. These people know there's a thing called videotape, right?
Yeah, I think he's finally uttered something that he's just, you can't gaslight your way out of this. You can't.
Oh, it's insane. It's insane. But and then there's, all right. So to narrow the focus on what I said a couple episodes ago about what they're saying that they're trying to do by not releasing the film. So supposedly they're going after Brenner and Comey for the whole Russiagate thing. That's why they're not, supposedly. And then they're even saying that they may be trying to get Obama in in the same indictment or sweep or whatever the hell they call it too. So it's like, yeah, I don't I don't know. I don't see that happening. And it's funny though, because once they said were going after Brennan and Comey, anybody that's anybody is like, good. Those guys deserve it. I mean, like the guy Kirikow, the ex-CIA guy. Anybody that's anybody that really knows, like Jeffrey Sachs, like, yes, good, get those guys. Those guys are, doing bad shit. But, I don't know. I mean, the fact that somebody as stupid as Trump could actually pull something like that off is just really and obviously Trump's not in charge. Obviously other people are in charge of doing that, hopefully. But, God, it's just like, God almighty, please. I mean, it's just so obvious that something's going on that's not,
Yeah, I mean, nobody thinks that. No, does he really think anybody's going to buy this? I can't.
And, here's the funny thing is, I know
most diehard MAGA supporters are still like, we're not buying it. Like, nobody's buying it.
The funny thing about how we frequently say, God, we wish we were like more the episodes were more closer to, they're kind of sit in the vault a little too long. It'll be to see what's happened when this comes out.
Oh God.
What's this going to come out in like a month?
It's unpredictable. Yeah.
Like, oh my Lord. What's gonna be the story then? Jesus Christ, it's so crazy. I can't wait for the midterms, man. That's going to be crazy, especially if Elon really pushes that other party. Because truthfully, if that other party takes any seats in the Senate or the House, that's huge. That's huge. Between that and maybe like they could coalesce with some of the libertarians that are already there, and they could block anything. They can go, look, you guys got to negotiate with us. We can block everything. You're not doing nothing without us saying so. So that could be huge, man. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. And you got anything else?
Yeah, I'm kind of out at the moment.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up.
I gotta hit the can anyway. So
yeah. There you go. Give him the number.
904-549-9024.
024. God, you've almost said it enough where I can almost remember
904-549-9024. So please call us and leave a message. Obviously, hit the like and subscribe and leave us some comments.
Subscribe is the big thing.
Yep.
Subscribe is the big thing. And, view us multiple times. See if that helps our view count, because we don't understand how that works.
All right. We'll see you next show.
We'll see you next time.